Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to tell you guys how to make a simple Scratch game called Bot Tank. So, let's get right into it. First we're going to delete our original sprite and paint a new sprite. This is going to be our tank, the one that fights the enemy for the whole game. So you should decorate this with as much time as you want. You could pause the video and make it look as good as long as it's around this size. That's going to be my tank. Make sure to put it in the middle and make sure that the shooting part is going to be facing right. Now, let's get into the coding. First, events, we put when green flag clicked and go to the looks and switch costume to costume 1. Now, we're going to go back here and actually change this costume to, um, I think, Scratch Tank. There we go. Now, as you see, the costume will also change by itself. Now, we go back into the X and we make X 200 and Y minus 130. There. Now we go back in here and point in direction. And instead of 90, you could use this little arrow thing, but I usually prefer the numbers. It's easier to write. All right, 0. Now as you see, a tank starts here, and the bot will start here. He will be the one fighting you. All right, now this is when the coding starts to begin for the moving. We'll start off with this forever, and then go down to the bottom of the motion, and we pick set rotation style to all around. You can find that above the X and Y position. Now under that, on top of that, there's a if and edge bounce. We'll get that as well. And we go back into control now. We get 4 of these. You could just duplicate 2 of them to make a fourth. All right. Now we can start with the actual moving. In sensing, this is going to include keys. So we'll put key here. And here we'll put up arrow. Here we'll put down arrow. And I'll just duplicate this 2 more times. Whoops. Just duplicate this one. And this one, instead of being down arrow again, we'll make it right arrow. And this one will be left arrow. All right, now back to the motion. We'll go to the move 10 steps. That's going to be, instead of 10, you could put 5 or 4. I usually prefer 4 as it's a little faster than the original, than 4. But if you want to be like about the same speed as a tank, you can just do 5 if you want to challenge yourself. Now for the right arrow, you're going to turn 5 degrees to the right. And now you're not going to duplicate this. You're going to get the one under that, which is the left. As you see, the arrow is points to a direction. The right arrow is pointing to the right, and the left arrow is pointing to the left. There we go. That's in it. Now we should get with the actual shooting, but that's going to be later. For now, we're just going to choose the codes for the shooting. There we go. Now go back to the sensing and key space. There we go. Now go back to the events and broadcast message 1. This is when there's going to be a lot of broadcast messages in this one, but if you do it right, it'll end up really well. And you're going to make this 0.3 seconds just to give it like just a small like a countdown. All right, now we're going to create a new one. This is going to be when it actually touches the bot bullet, which is the other bot. All right, this is when green flag clicked. Now go to control and press forever. Now go to if then and go to the sensing and touching. Now over here, you're going to actually create a new sprite. We're not going to color it. We're not going to do anything. We're just going to make a new sprite and call it bot bullet. Now we're going to create a new sprite. Call this one. Oh wait, also go back to sprite 1 and make this player 1 tank. There. I usually like putting brackets as it makes it. There we go. Now sprite 2, well, we're gonna make this one bot tank. There. Now this should go here while the bot bullet. Now you're gonna create one more. There's gonna be more later, but that we'll deal with that later. And for here you're gonna write player 1 bullet. There we go. Now we have our bullets, and we haven't started with the coding, but we will later on. Now, if touching, we're gonna write bot bullet for this one. Then we're gonna go back to the looks and switch costume to burnt tank. This is gonna be a new one we're actually gonna create right now, and we're gonna name this one burned tank. Pretty much all you need to do is just make your tank all black. If you have a simple tank, it'll be a little easy. But if you just like create it and just make it all burn, so once you get shot, you'll actually like you'll be dead, and that's how. And I think I'm gonna make mine look like that. As you see, this took a long time to just decorate, but for now, we're still gonna. As you see, that's the reason we actually switched costume to Scratch Tank, is now when we begin, it's back to the Scratch Tank like usual. There we go. Now, we're going to switch costume to Burnt Tank if we get shot by the bot bullet, which is going to be the bot's bullet. Now, go to events, and we're going to broadcast two messages. The first one, we're going to name this one play. Oh, whoops. Player 2 wins. That sounds right. And broadcast a new message. And this one's going to be replacement. There we go. Now, this is going to be like a replacement for if you shoot and the other bot shoots. If he gets you, your bullet will instantly disappear from when you last shot. And player 2 wins is going to be the bot who wins. You could name it bot wins, but I usually like player 2 wins is a little easier to write. Now, we're going to go to the stop all and put that under here. But instead, you're going to do stop other scripts in the sprite. So this will make it, you cannot move after that. Now, here you're going to go to if then. This is going to be a little thing you can like just restart your like level just because it's not right. You go to sensing and if key, and I think we should make it R arrow for this one as R like as restart, and then switch costume to Scratch Tank like always. Oops, Scratch Tank. And we're gonna go, and you could actually just go back to the top here and just take, like, duplicate this part again, and then delete everything under the pointed direction to 0. And now, whoops, there we go. Now we can actually put that there instead of just making new ones. There we go. Now, I think that's the coding for our first tank. Now we need to begin coding for our bot tank. And pretty much this is going to be actually the same looking tank as player 1. So you're actually going to have to go back to player 1 and go to the costumes and actually just copy this one. Then go back to the bot tank and paste it. Now, this one, you could name it Scratch Tank again, but I think bot tank will suit it more. That's the name of the actual sprite. Now, you do want to actually create a new painted one and costume and go back to the burnt tank you made and oops, control no, and just control that and control C, copy it and then paste it again, control V, and there. But now if you actually go when green flag it, this one returns. So now we need to actually begin with the coding for this one. First we're gonna go when green flag clicked and go to the looks and switch costume to maybe switch costume to bot tech. Yeah, that one. Then go to motion and go to the very bottom over here and take the same one we took in the very beginning. Set rotation style to all around. Now we're gonna go to XY at the very top here. And now same thing we did last time. Instead of 200, we're actually gonna do minus 200 as the X will be the opposite of the other tank. And minus 130 will actually leave it as nope, wait. Yeah, minus 130 will actually leave it. But now we've forgotten to do the point in direction. So we actually need a point in direction, 0. There we go. Now go to control and choose the forever block there. And now go back to control, yeah, go to the bottom of control and create clone of bot bullet. This is going to be later, but for now we'll just do this. Go back to motion now and choose F1H bounce. This is actually one of my favorite blocks as it's just a simple block without any coding really into it. Now we're going to create 4 variables right now. First one's going to be start X. You don't really need to make these, but if you really just want to be sure that you'll get it, you should make these. Start Y, and then you're going to make target X, and make sure to put the X and Y for targets and now target Y. Make sure to put them in capitals so it's clear to see you. And now go to set, and we're going to need actually 4 of these. The first one, we're going to do a start X. The second one, and now we're going to make this one target X and this one as target Y. Right, now back to the motion section. If you go down, the last blocks are going to be X position or Y position. We're going to make start X position and start Y position. Now go back to the operators and pick random. For the target X, we're going to do minus 220 and Y, oh, 220. Now here we're going to actually put minus 150 and then, oh, whoops, I didn't. You do that. Just let me delete this one and then pick random and make this one minus 150. And like the other one, we're just going to do opposite but without the minus 150. There we go. Now we have the actual coding for when it goes. Now we're going to create a new one. And this one, we're actually going to name it the pointer. This is going to be the one where we actually just like point. So the bot tank will actually point to the same direction it moves in instead of just looking up in the roof and then just moving to the bottom. All right, now when Greenfly clicks, we're gonna hide, of course, and also go back to variables, and you're gonna make sure to actually untick all of these. You're not meant to be seeing them in the actual thing. And now we're gonna go back to here and back to the bot tank. We're gonna actually create a new one as broadcast message, and I think a nice normal name for this will be new message and call it update pointer. There we go. Update pointer. Now, if we go back to the actual spine one, which we should name pointer. There we go. And now we just gotta make the X, go to XY, delete the insides at 200 and 130. Now go back to the variables and make X target X and Y target Y. Now let's try this. Yep, it still hasn't worked yet because we haven't made it actually glide to the position it needs to instead of just flying. There we go. Now let's go back to the bot tank. And we're gonna wait, actually. Wait 1 second, but you're gonna actually change this to I think 0.01 seconds, just so we can give it a small cooldown before it actually starts everything. But that you should do that, or it'll actually maybe even mess it up. Now go back to the motion and point towards mouse pointer, which we're gonna actually change to pointer, and then over here we're gonna glide 2 seconds. Right there, glide 2 seconds to variables and make this target X and target Y. So now, oh, whoops, I think we made a mistake here because it should actually be pointing towards the same place it goes to. And there we go. Now, as you see, it actually, oh, no, that was not meant to happen. Let me just check this one more time. I don't know if this is right. Oh, no, that's why. Over here in the events, you actually make it when I receive. when I receive update pointer. There we go. Now, as you see, when it moves, it'll actually move to the same direction as pointing instead of just pointing somewhere random and actually moving somewhere random. Now we could get on with either the bot bullet or the actual like the tank's bullet, but I think we should do bot bullet first. All right, for the bot bullet, we're actually gonna here and since as you see in the bot tank, we even actually created a clone of bot bullet. So here we're gonna start back to control, and when I start as a clone, we're gonna actually go to looks and show. Now go to bot tank over here. We'll just go to and change random position to bot tank and point towards. Um, here, we're gonna point towards tank, player one tank. There. Now we're gonna go to control and repeat until. Oh, let's just stop this. Repeat until, which you'll find somewhere near the bottom. Repeat until, and we're gonna go to the operators and actually choose an or from here. And from one side, it's gonna go touching. We'll go touching edge and duplicate it, and or touching tank player one. Now we're gonna put this in the repeat until, and in motion we're gonna put move 10 steps. Now we're gonna go back to control and delete this clone after that. Now when go back here and when green flag click, we go to the looks and hide it. And here we're gonna go events, and when I receive replacement two, oh whoops, we still haven't finished the coding for the actual this one, so I'm gonna start the coding for the bot tank. Now go back to the bot tank actually and go one more time when green flag clicked and go to control and choose forever. Now we need an if then for this. Um, yep, if then. And now if go to sensing and touching bullet player one. Oh, player one bullet. Same. Now switch costume and we're actually gonna make this costume one. But if you go back here, we should actually change this one to burned tank. Whoops. Burned tank. There we go. Now as you see, this changes. Now we're going to go back to the events and broadcast two messages, just like we did for the other tank. The first one's going to be a new message and call this one player one wins. And the second one is going to be actually same thing, instead replacement two. This is going to be the bot one. Now go back to the control and same thing we did for the other one. Stop other scripts in the sprite. Now here's when stuff starts to get nearly the exact same thing. We go back to player one here, and if you want, you could just take this whole thing and copy it, then return it to where it was meant to be, which was over here, and now copy it again. I mean, paste it. There we go, and we put that in a new section over here. If R pressed, and now switch costume to bot tank. Yeah, and now go to events and broadcast. Wait a minute, I think that might already be there. Oh yeah, we also, all right, now we're gonna broadcast message as restart. We're gonna create a new one. Oh, whoops. Restart. Let me just return everything back to where it was. There we go. Restart. Now we're gonna, instead of going to we're just gonna change this to minus 200, and that's right. Now we're gonna actually have to take this, and you could just copy this And as I forgot to actually do in the very beginning, we also need to actually restart for this one. There we go. Now, that's the actual coding for this part. Now, just gonna clean. All right, back to bot bullet now. We're gonna go, um, this part's hard. This part is actually starting to get a little hard. Now, one green flag click. Um, oh wait, never mind. That's our after part. This part's easy. We're gonna actually delete this clone. And we're gonna actually make this message replacement 2. Now let's just check if we did anything wrong here. Um, no, we didn't. Okay, now we could actually get to the actual, as you see, we still haven't made the bullet for the tank, which I've never actually like remembered to do that. So this is going to be your bullet for the bot tank. So you better actually take your time for this and do like whatever you want for this. It doesn't matter what I do. Like just do it how you want. And I think I'm actually going to make mine look just like maybe like this. Let me just let's just try that. Yep, that's perfect. Now the bot bullet, this is going to be the way mine looks, and this is actually going to be the same bullet you need for the player one. And there's going to be no other costumes for the sprite, so this is all you need for the sprite. Now I'm going to copy that and actually go back to the player one and do the exact same thing there. But as we see here, we're going to always, there we go. Now as you see, if he shoots me, I actually turned burnt, but I'm actually going to need to create something later that actually makes it that it deletes the sprite that it was like it actually says player one wins at the top, but that can be later for now. Now let's go to player one, the bullet, and here we can start coding our own bullet. When green flag clicked here, and we're of course going to hide it, and just go back to the bottom and hide it. Now, when I receive, and over here, go to the events and choose when I receive message one. And we're actually gonna, yeah, we're gonna create clone and go to the control and go to somewhere near the bottom, create clone of myself. Now, when I go here and when I start as a clone, we're gonna go to tank player one, which is going to be us. Go to tank. Player one tank. Now this is when it starts to get a little complicated. We're gonna point in direction. We're actually gonna go back to sensing and choose this big block. And for this one, we're actually gonna make it direction. Um, Instead, it's not gonna be there. So you're gonna make instead of Tage, you're gonna make it tank player one tank. Now you can actually find direction. So point in direction, direction of player one tank. It's a little complicated, but if you think it through, it'll actually make sense. We're gonna show now control and repeat until, which is the same one. And over here, we're gonna write touching. Oh, wait, yep. We're gonna need the or again. And we're gonna duplicate this. And if touching edge or bot tank. And put that in the repeat until. Now we're going to go motion and move 10 steps again. Now, last one, we're going to go to the events and when I receive, we're going to write replacement and delete this clone. There we go. Now I'm just going to clean these blocks up. And that's the coding for the shooting. Now, as you see, we actually have the game beginning. So the bot needs to try and shoot us and, whoops. It might be a little laggy, but you could just like, and then space is for us to shoot. There we go. Now, just if you don't make any mistakes, you can actually go to the files and save to your computer and now save it. And yes, now as you see, even if we delete this one, we could always go back to saving it again. Now we could create, we're gonna need actually one last sprite for this one, but this is actually gonna be the one where you like curate the new, we're gonna make the player one wins and player two wins. Okay, so now we're gonna actually paint a new sprite. This we're gonna name winning. And over here, we're first going to write player one wins. This is going to be my one. You can decorate it however you want, like again, and copy that same one. And this is going to be costume names player player one wins. And this coding is going to be a little more complicated than you probably expect it to be. And now we're going to paste a new one and paste it again. And this time we're actually going to go back to our writing and we're going to write player, um, player bot wins. Sounds fine. And make sure to put it in the middle like always. And now we have our two winning sections. Now, if we go back here, we're going to need all our nearly a lot of broadcast messages when I receive. And we're going to write player one wins. We're going to look and oh, yep, the costume here. We're going to name this one bot wins. Now, when I receive where player one wins, it's going to be when player one wins. We're going to actually show it and switch costume. We're going to switch costume to costume one, which is player one wins. Now go to X, go to motion, and go to X as 0 there, and Y as 100. Now we're gonna go to looks and actually go to the bottom and go to front layer. Now we're gonna repeat until over here. We're gonna actually go back to the control section and repeat until and go to sensing and key R clicked. Um, there we go. We're gonna actually go to here and we're gonna go down here and change color effect by 10. Now, this is going to make it actually look a little different changes. Now, this is how it's going to look. But for now, no one's win. So we got to go to event. And when we've clicked, we're going to go to the bottom here and hide it. There we go. Now we're going to, I think, we're going to make a little more coding. I think 2 more parts. And then we finish. Events, we're going to go to here and when I receive, and we're gonna actually make this one as player two wins, and then we could go to looks and show it. Whoops. And now switch costume to costume two, which you'll find here, costume two, but for us it'll be bot wins, and player two wins pretty much equals bot wins, and we're gonna actually, I think we're gonna need to copy this all. This is right, and then yeah, that's it. And now we gotta go one more time here and when I receive, I don't, this isn't really, yeah, when I receive, and there we go. When I receive restart, then I'm gonna go to the looks actually, and we're gonna hide it. And yep, I think that's all the coding we need to do. And I don't think there's any more after that. And now let's actually try it out. There is trying to shoot us as it moves, and we're trying to dodge it. But if you just want to make it look a little nicer, you could actually paint a new backdrop and just do whatever you want. Like I might just do like I might even choose a new backdrop and maybe just make it like something like the Arctic or anything just simple. It doesn't really have to be important, just something like that. And now as you see, we have our little thing with a nice looking backdrop at the end. Now as you see, if I let him shoot me, player bot wins. And now even if he goes in the way there, the one is actually the player bot wins is actually going to be in the front layer. Now, even if I win, okay, that is hard. Okay, this is really a hard bot actually. But if you actually get good in the game, I've actually found this trick before where I win nearly every single time. Where you just have to just move like that and try to shoot him. Yeah, there. Player one wins and let's try that again. There we go. Player one wins. Oh, whoops, I think we forgot to do one coding of here. And delete this clone here should be there. Player bot wins. Delete this. Yeah, there we go. Now we actually have the bullets shot wherever it is. And the reason I actually made this game is because usually when I want to make a if you're like alone, like an only person, like you don't have anyone to play with, you instead of just making a tank where you can play with another person, you could actually make this new tank where you can play with a bot. So you actually don't need anyone to play with you, and you could just play for the fun of it by yourself. The bot pretty much acts nearly exactly like the same human, only that he actually just shoots exactly for where you are, and he just moves in one direction. But I think that's nearly the most you could do. You could make him actually act like a normal person, but that will like use heaps of coding, like super. Like it's a lot, like maybe a 40-minute video, but I don't think I have time for that. Okay. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I'll see you in the next one.